Say, God, I am finished. They are rusticating me. I have finished. I've been rusticated from school. Hey. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're just seeing this face for the first time, hi, my name is Rosie. I'm a YouTuber based in Abuja. Hi, you're welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, you're amazing. So today, you guys, I want to give you guys hot gists, as per story time. Today I thought, why not I do a story time? So just a gist about how, should I say how I almost got expelled or how I almost dropped out? I don't know, but it's just something related to school. Like, it was a hassle, you guys. Just relax, chill, and we'll get right into this video. I have my water here because we need water to digest the gravity of this gist. Okay, let's go. So the lights in this stuff is giving my eye pain. Where do I start from? So as you all know, I graduated from Eastern Mediterranean University in North Cyprus, Communication and Media Studies Department. So you guys, what's it called, after my graduation, funny enough, how it works in my department, or even, yeah, I think in most schools, is that once you have finished all your courses, and if you're doing thesis or project, whatever, once you finished all your courses, you can be, you can do your graduation. They can put in your name for the students graduating, and then you take out time after graduation to do either your project or your thesis. So my master's was master's with thesis, and I finished all my courses and they enrolled me for graduation. So I did my graduation, and then I was like, okay, fine, time for me to start my thesis. Graduation was 2020 of February. Yes, 2020 of February. It was beautiful. I sent my parents graduation pictures, my sisters, everybody was posting, oh, we graduated and all that. Yay. So the real story begins when it was time for my thesis. So how does thesis work? You have to pick a supervisor, you pick a topic, a supervisor, and you start, right? So I had a topic already in mind. I wanted to talk on cyberbullying, but I didn't know what supervisor to pick for my thesis. So my friend Valeria, asked her, she said, oh, she had this the supervisor she used was really good, like the woman was so nice to her, and why don't I use the woman? So I went to meet her, I gave her my topic and all that, and she was like, okay, fine, that we can work together. Okay, so I realized that the woman was not really having my time. Like, every time when I go to meet her, like, okay, I've done this chapter, please review and all that, she will tell me it's okay. Then maybe when I get to chapter 3, she will not send me back to chapter 1, and she'll be like, oh, why did I do this? What did I write here? This. And I'm like, but I'm the one that showed you, auntie. I just showed you this stuff, and you told me, you gave me go ahead. That's how I entered the next chapter. I will send her my chapter 1, and she'll tell me, okay, it's fine, not knowing that this woman was not reading it. She'll tell me it's fine, and then when I'm finishing my chapter 2, she'll tell me that, what did I do in chapter 1? So it means everything will be disoriented, because you now have to go back and change something. And sometimes when you change major things, it means your chapter 2, chapter 3, every other thing has to change. So it was going on like that, until we finally got to the end, and she was like, okay, it was time for me to, it's okay if I want to do my defense. If I'm ready for defense, it's okay, let's do the defense. Because I was able to do chapter 1, 2, 3 and 4. I hadn't done my chapter 5, but you can start prepping for defense. Chapter 5 is just conclusion, so you can start prepping for defense and all that, since it's just conclusion left. So this is where the story gets interesting. I ran my work through plagiarism, because in my department you mustn't have anything more than 20% plagiarism. So I ran my work through plagiarism check, and it was 42% plagiarism. My God. So I'm like, oh, I had to start trying to edit, but my mind was not there, let me not just lie. So I just was not in the mood to edit it. So someone now told me and said, what is this one making noise outside? So someone now told me and said that, oh, I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can help you edit your work, like can help you edit your work into like a particular number of particular number that you want, so that your plagiarism won't be that high, you know. I'm like, oh really? He said yes. And they said, oh, he's quite affordable, like he doesn't charge so much and all that. Affordable was expensive then. Let me not even tell you guys how much, because I'm ashamed of myself. But I was like, oh okay, cool, since he can do it, that's fine, why don't we go for it? And then the guy, I met with the guy, you know, we talked, I told him, okay, this is it, this is that, and I'm still in my chapter 5, I haven't done my conclusion. He now said, oh, it's fine, he can even do the conclusion part for me and all that. I'm like, oh okay, that he would just read through, and then like I should explain to him what my topic was all about and all that. So I explained to him everything, and I was like, okay fine, he will just read through, and then he will know what and what to write for the conclusion. You know, I wasn't even really interested in him doing the conclusion. I just wanted him to do the plagiarism for me, so that it's less than the 20%, while I face the conclusion and do that few days to my defense. This guy now did my stuff for me. He helped me to do the whole edit, the whole paraphrase and all that, and I had like by the time I ran it through, he sent it to me, and I ran it through plagiarism check. It was like 3%. So I'm like, wow, this guy is good, 3%. So I showed my friend Valerie. She was like, she said her own self was 19%. And so if he's doing 3%, then it means he knows what he's doing, you know. So we're like, oh okay, then that's fair enough. But there was a problem I had with my work. I realized that all my work on my Word document had like red lines, and that was not how I gave it to him. Do you get like red lines? I don't know if you're everybody, I'm sure we're all familiar with Word documents, and then when you have an error, maybe you misspelled something on your Word document, there's this red line. It gives you a red line, so you then have to right click on the red line, and then it auto corrects for you and your spelling is correct, right? So I realized my work had that, and I'm like, okay, when I gave this guy this thing, it wasn't like this, so how come he's returning it to me and I have a lot of red lines? So I right clicked, and anytime I right click, it just doesn't stop coming out, like there's always red line. So I'm like, oh my, waiting they happen, like why my work they get red line? I'm like, waiting they happen. Right now I'm laughing about it though, but it was not even this funny then, because I'm like, why is this still having red line? So I told him, I'm like, this stuff is having red line, like what's going on? And he's like, he was even rude to me. He was like, I'm not familiar with what document that red line was, that when you're making a spelling mistake, it just shows you that your spelling mistake is wrong, and then it corrects you. So he told me to go to settings and change it, and then so even if your spelling mistake is wrong, it doesn't correct you. That's when I should have known that something was fishy. But my mind, like I said, as in anytime I remember that thing, it'd be like say make I beat myself, because if it was my junior sister or someone that told me that this is, I feel just beat her, like I would have just like, because then I should have just known something was going on. But like I said, my mind was not there. My mind was just not there. I was just not there. I think maybe mentally I had checked out of school, seeing that I'd done my graduation and everything. So mentally my brain had already checked out from school. So he told me to do that. So I went to my settings, and then I removed the whole stuff from spelling check and all that. Then I submitted. So when I submitted the Turnitin report to my to my supervisor. She told me, okay, I send a copy to my course advisor, and I did. I just sent everything, and they said, okay, they scheduled me for like my defense for, I can't remember the date again, but it was in 2020 September, I think, somewhere of 2020, definitely. So then I realized 2 days before my defense, I got a call from school that I should come by the department. So in my head, I thought that, oh, the call from school was that, okay, now come and set up your teams, because mind you, 2020 was COVID year. It was March or April, I think, of 2020 that COVID broke, you get. So February, my graduation held, but I think towards March or April, that's when COVID broke out. So we had to start using Microsoft Teams for school and all that. But me, I had graduated, so I didn't set up Microsoft Teams because I didn't need it at that point. So time for my defense, I thought, okay, why they asked me to come 2 days earlier was that set up for my Microsoft Teams. So I went to my laptop and everything, so that the laptop I plan to use for defense, I went with it and all that, so that, you know, they can set me up. So I got there, my I don't know what am I called? Yeah, she was my course advisor, but she also had another name. I think she was the department head or assistant dean or something. I can't remember. So she asked me to wait outside. So I waited outside the office for her. And then after a while, they referred me to somebody else. I was not understanding what was going on, sha, but I was like, okay, maybe it's just procedure and everything and everything. And then they told me, okay, I should wait outside again. I waited outside. So after like a few minutes, she asked me to come in. So I came in and I was coming in. She was like, oh no, I should drop my laptop back. I'm like, oh really? That I thought I was going to set up my laptop for the defense. She said, just drop your laptop bag outside. So I dropped it and I was walking in with my phone obviously in my hand, and she's like, oh no, I should also drop my phone inside the bag and keep it outside. So that's when I knew something don't they go wrong, go, because which one is I should drop my phone, drop my laptop? I'm like, okay, something is definitely going wrong. So I sat down there, like my mind was running through 1,000,001 places. I'm like, God, what did I do? Like, what's going on? So she then handed me over, like she didn't hand it over to me, she showed me like a paper, a printed copy of my thesis. She had already printed out my thesis, and then she on this in an A4 paper, already printed out my thesis in an A4 paper. So she showed me like this and she was like, oh, is this my thesis? I'm like, yes. Now I said, oh yes, so jam, like my name is there, so that's my thesis. She was like, oh okay. She said, she asked me, oh, how did I go about it, like how did I write it, how did I choose my topic? So I told her like, oh, I chose my topic because of this. I told her why I chose the topic. I told her how I went about it, how I did my chapter 1, 2, 3. She asked me, questions, usual questions. I think just wanting to know if I wrote my thesis myself. So I was like, oh yes. She now said, okay, then how did I run my work through Turnitin? I'm like, oh, I was stammering small for that one because obviously I didn't do the Turnitin and the whole thing by myself. So I was already stuttering small. I'm like, oh, I paraphrased and this and that, and then I ran through Turnitin. And she was like, okay. So she was like, so I'm confirming that this is my work. I'm like, yes, this is my work. So she's like, why did I use big T's? Big T's. I'm like, Ojam, what is big T's? It's my Ojam means like lecturer, like teacher. That's what we call, that's the Turkish name for your teacher, Ojam. So I'm like, Ojam, what do you mean big T's? Like, I didn't use big T's. She was like, there were big T's in front of my word. Now she had to show me the printed copy. Well, you guys, this guy manipulated the whole Turnitin report. Now let me explain. In front of my name, you know how my name is Rosie Obiako Okuta, right? In front of the Rosie, there was a big T in front. In front of the Obiako, there was a big T in front. In front of the Okuta. So in all my words, even maybe you want to use the word tomorrow, in front of tomorrow there's a big T. Big T is like capital letter T, like a big one in front of each word. You guys, I did not know that was a thing. I did not know that people do that and get away with it. Now mind you guys, like the big T's I'm talking about were invisible. Now that's why I had those red lines. Like I couldn't see it, I couldn't see those big T's, but then it was invisible, it was there. Like that has to be one level of, I don't know what it's called. Like I don't even know how he went about that, but the big T's were invisible. But when they printed it out in school, it was visible. But on the Word document, he made them invisible. That's why it was showing me red lines, and that was why I couldn't see it. Assuming I could see it, I'd have known that okay, this is what it was, but I couldn't see it as of that point. I didn't know what it was, but I was just doing that. I was getting errors. You guys, they were big T's. I didn't even know that there was a thing called big T's. It was when she asked me that I knew that okay, there is big T's, like you put it in front of your words or stuff to manipulate your plagiarism and all that. I didn't even know there was anything like that. That's what this guy was doing. That's what this guy did. So I'm like, that was not me. Like I said, I didn't put big T's in my machine. I said, but I just told her, I just confirmed that this was my work when she was showing it to me. I'm like, yes, I did. And I said, but it's not me, like not be me. God, you guys, this is funny to me now, but then it was not funny. I was already crying, like there in that office, tears were already dropping down my eyes because I'm like, okay, I'm finished. In case you don't know, communication and media studies department in North Cyprus, they don't joke with plagiarism, especially EMU. Plagiarism is like a no for them, because obviously you're in communication and media studies department, like public relation, advertising, all those things. Like you cannot plagiarize. That is like a no. Do you get? So they take plagiarism more serious. If you cheat in an exam hall, yes, you're wrong, but if you plagiarize, I feel like you're wronger. If there's anything like wronger, like plagiarism is a big deal. So now manipulating my plagiarism reports means that I'm trying to tell them they're stupid, that kind of thing. So she was not like, and I said, oh no, I didn't do that, I was trying to explain and all that. So she was like, okay, fine, I should go. I'm like, what is next? This woman said, make I go. What is next? Like, what am I going to do with myself? She now said I should go. You guys, the walk back home was the longest 10 minutes walk ever in this life. Like, I was crying. You know that kind of cry, that's ugly cry. I don't even stand. Like, I was crying, ugly cry on the road, and I was walking on the road. I was crying because I felt like my life was over. Now, I did not even know the gravity of, like, I did not know what was going to happen. So I had to call my friend. She said, I should just quickly go and, change it, like, do, I should go and paraphrase, I should go and do it, and then Tony send them the change copy. I now called the guy that did it for me. He was now like, he's sorry, it's not even that he made a mistake, he used somebody's system. I'm like, guy, you don't even know what you're saying. What do you mean by you? Am I stupid? Like, it was as if they now washed my eyes. Like, everything was now playing back to me, like telling me to change the setting on my word, giving me my work back with red lines and all that. That was when it's like my head was now open, like, okay, this girl, you've just been played. They've played you. Like, they don't chop your money, they've played you, and aside from that, your degree is at stake. So he was not like, oh no, he's sorry, he's going to try and send me another copy now. I'm like, I don't need your copy, bros. Like, there's nothing, we can't do anything about this again, the deed has already been done. So I just hung up the call. I went home. I quickly, you see, in like 1 hour, that thing I was saying I could not do, that's of that I needed somebody to do it, I quickly changed it, and it was like 19% as of that point. I now sent it. I was not asking myself, I said, Obiako, why didn't you just do this thing yourself to avoid all these problems? So I sent it. I did it, was 90%, and I sent it across to her. So she did not even acknowledge any of the emails. As of then, I couldn't even meet eye to eye with my supervisor, because my supervisor was already, I'm sure she was already pissed and all that with me. So I was going to school every day to go and find out what's up. Whenever I go to school, they say, oh, they've not decided on my case yet. When they decide, they'll let me know. You guys, the whole of summer finished, they were still deciding on my case. Mind you, I've shown them graduation picture at home, but I never get degree for hand. I showed them my graduation picture, but no degree yet, no nothing. So I'm like, what do I want to tell my father? What do I want to tell him? And then once that summer semester ends, the next semester I have to pay another tuition for me to be registered for math, and I need to be registered before they attend to my case. Hey God, I'm like, God, I'm finished. That time is like I was actually depressed, because I will smile with everybody during the day, but when I get back home in my room at night, I'm crying, because I'm like, I'm finished. I am finished. 2 years, what will I tell them at home? So guys, that semester ended and nothing. Anytime I go to school, they tell me they're still on my case. When they finalize, they will let me know. The thing turned to prayer, because I had to start praying about it. I'm like, God, I beg, let them remember this case, because I don't know what they mean. One day I was in my friend's office, because then she now had the office in school and all that. So I was in my friend's office that day, and the secretary called her office and was like, is Rosie with you? Because obviously they knew we were friends, and they knew that I was always in her office and I was always in the department. So she was like, oh yes. And I said, okay, tell her to come upstairs. So I came upstairs. I went upstairs to meet them, meet the secretary, and she handed me a paper. And then she was like, oh, I'm supposed to meet in so and so place. It's also in school, but it's in like South Campus of school. I'm supposed to meet there at so and so dates in 3 days or 4 days from that day she gave me, and time for my disciplinary hearing. I'm like, for my what? Say for my disciplinary hearing, that I have been scheduled for a disciplinary hearing, that they've I have been scheduled for disciplinary hearing, meaning I have to go through disciplinary committee and all that, plenty things. I say, God, I am finished. They are rusticating me. I have finished. I'm being rusticated from school. Hey, because you know how, I don't know if you know what it means for going through disciplinary committee. I did not know what it meant, and I did not even want to know, but the name alone was scaring me. I'm like, they are going to expel me. They are going to expel me, definitely. Like, I'm like getting expelled. Maybe they will deport me. Like, and if you know me, I can be very paranoid when I'm thinking, and I can get scared very fast. So as of then, I thought like 1,000,001 things that could go wrong. So I stood there, and the woman had to come. She was like, Rosie. I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you understand? I said, yes, I understand, and I understand. Oh God. And then I went downstairs to my friend's office, and I'm like, babe, it don't happen. Hey. So she was like, hey, Rosie, disciplinary committee, everybody. I was calling on my friends. I'm like, hey guys, this is what's going on. And they were like, that this is not funny. Like, oh babe, this is not funny. You're like, it's a big deal. Disciplinary committee, it's like a big deal for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's a big deal. Oh, hey God. And that's it could determine whether they will terminate your degree, meaning you have to start afresh, or they will give you suspension, or they will expel you, not even start afresh, they will rusticate you from the school. That was the 3 worst case scenarios that was going to happen. So as of then, I'm like, I'm finished. I am finished. I am done for. So everybody was like, don't worry, this one. So that night, I was not thinking about it. I'm like, is this the ordinary or not? Because I don't understand anymore. Like, starting from the beginning of my thesis, after my graduation, it was one bad stuff going on with my math. But something was just going wrong. I'm like, okay, what's going on actually? Like, something is definitely going wrong. Like, this is not what it's meant to be. Like, this is not how it's meant to be. Something is definitely going wrong. That's why I kept on telling myself that night. I'm like, okay, like, what's possibly, let me drink water, because like, thinking about it now too, it turned my brain. So I was like, something is definitely wrong, because I don't see why all this is happening. Why? So that night, I lay down on the bed. There's this prayer platform I always join, and that night I just laid down and I prayed. And then that night they were like, oh, he said, download anything you want to see in your life and all that. So I downloaded cancelled disciplinary committee hearing. That was number 1. So that day the theme for the prayer was I think no more negativity, something like in that manner. And then while we're praying, I just got angry, honestly, like, with the whole anger, with the whole emotions. I just took what's it called, the paper they gave to me then in school. I just took it and I tore it into shreds, like, because I was angry. I was praying, and I'm like, what is it? As I saw the paper like this in my phone, I just tore it. Like, after I tore it, I'm like, you just tore the paper. The number that you want to use to locate your hall, because they put the hall number and where I'm supposed to meet that day. How will you get it? After I tore the paper, that's what I was asking myself. Okay, how will you get to your hall? How will you know where your hall is and all that? But honestly, out of anger, I tore it. But I had already downloaded, when they said download what you want, I downloaded like a cancelled disciplinary committee hearing. I just downloaded it and I left it on my phone and I prayed with it. So fast forward to the day of the hearing. That day, all my friends came through for me as usual. We all drove there, and then on getting there, we were the first. I think everybody had time. They gave me time. I went there earlier than my time. So we just sat down. They were all trying to tell me, they were prepping me, telling me what to say. Okay, you say this, you don't say. Woman now came out. She was like, Rosie Oputa? When she called my name, my heart seized. You guys, I jumped. Before then, as we got there, come and see the people that were coming for the hearing. As they passed like this, me and my friends look at ourselves. They're coming with their boxes, stern look, like straight face. You will know that these people came for business. They were coming. I saw over 15 people that were coming in that morning. Like, they were just coming in, they are traveling. Probably they still live in Istanbul or Turkey or something, and they were just coming in for that to go back afterwards. So their faces were so serious. They were looking so strict. They were coming with their boxes. Some people were holding portfolio. They were just holding one thing or the other, but their face was focused. You know that kind of thing, that when you even try to say hi to them, so that when they see your face, they'll know that, okay, this person said hi to me well, but you could not even have the mouth to say hi. So yeah, so that I saw them and I was more like, my fear intensified. I was like, hey. Then before you know it, I now saw security, school security. In my mind, I'm like, those are the security that are keeping in place, that when the whole thing finishes, they are packing you to deport you. I was like, hey God, I'm going to get deported. I was like, hey God. I was thinking of 1,000,001 things. I'm like, okay, maybe when they expel me, they will put me in the next flight back to Nigeria, because obviously I'm no more a student. Or I thought about 1,000,001 things going wrong that minute. I'm like, God, this is not your plan for me, or this is definitely not your plan for me. So The lady came out, she called me, she said, Rosie Oputa. I said, that's me. So she's like, I should write my name and write the time that I'm number one. That's all. After a few minutes, I'm going in. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I wrote my name, I wrote the time I came, and I signed, and she took the paper and she went in. They stayed in there again for like another 15 to 20 minutes, and then she came out. So we already knew that the next time she comes out, that's when I'm going in. You get. So the moment she came out the next time, I was already holding on to my friend. Like Shifumi was sitting by my side here. So I was already like holding on to her legs, like almost I was freaking out. So she now said, Shifumi was telling me, don't worry, ma worry. She's like, don't worry. So as the woman came out, she was like, Rosie. I'm like, yes, that's me. So I stood up, and then she's like, your hearing has been cancelled. Eh? She said, your hearing has been cancelled. Just, go by the rector's office. After 1 month, go by rector's office, collect this file, submit it to your department, and you go ahead with your defense. What? I'm like, what? Hey, God. There. I sat on the floor. If you guys know me, I can be very dramatic. I sat on the floor. I'm like, hey, God, is this you? I'm like that was, I don't even know, like that thing meant so much to me. I'm like, okay, God really hears us when we pray. At the end of the day, like, God really hears. He hears. If there's anything I took out from that thing, was God really hears. Because trust me, I don't know what would have happened if I did not decide to pray about it. I don't know. Maybe the hearing would have held, or maybe not. I don't know. Or maybe somebody might tell me, oh, it's a coincidence, or this one. I don't know. But I'm just glad that I prayed. That's all. And I'm glad that it turned out the way it happened. So I sat on the floor. My friends were like, what? This has never happened before, and all that. But thankfully, after 1 month, your girl went to rector's office. I took the paper they asked me to take. I submitted it to my department, and then they told me, okay, I can start for my defense. After that 1 month, my supervisor wanted to tell me this. I said, no, I've already crossed the highest bridge. You see, with this defense that did not hold, nothing can shake me again. There's nothing. Before I used to cry up and down. Now I'm not crying again. That's what I was telling myself. I'm like, you seriously, you cannot cry. You've crossed the hardest. Why is this hair in my face? I'm like, you've crossed the hardest part. Like, you've crossed it already. So any other thing is just distraction. And you cannot sway me. I cannot be distracted. We are not of them that are easily moved. I don't know what is wrong with me this night. Anyway, so my supervisor came with her own left, right, center. I did not even mind. Anything she said, I will do. Anything she said, I just knew that worst case scenario was that I have to register again. And I knew that my registering again, that was going to be the last time I registered. People of God, I registered again, the third time. But the good thing is that on a normal day, let's assume that I was trying to follow due process. I'm meant to finish my master's under 3 semesters. So on the third semester, why it felt like I was not supposed to use 3 semesters, because I had finished my coursework. Normally, people that do 3 semesters like that, they have courses, so they take their classes and then they also do it with thesis. But this time around, no, I'm supposed to finish in 2 semesters, or even 1, because I don't have any course. I finished all my coursework, I finished everything, so I was meant to just focus, and do it. But anyway, we can't cry over spilled milk. They scheduled me for the defense towards the end of the semester. I made sure it was that semester. Towards the end of the semester, they scheduled me for the defense. I did it. But like, when I heard, I think I have a clip. I said this my YouTube thing. I said I think I have a clip or something. If I have, I will insert it there. But if I don't have, that's it. But I think I have a short recording of when they said, oh, your thesis has been approved, congratulations, and all that. That's how I finished. I'm like, is this how thesis is hard? And it was after I graduated, after I finished with the whole thesis and all that my friend Buki called me one day and she was like, oh my babe, she said she met 2 people today from her church, and then they were telling her about their thesis in my department, that it was stressing them out, like, did well. So when she told me that I was happy. I'm like, okay, Sha. She said, so for what is what, Rosie, I just want to tell you that you're not the only one that went through that. A lot of people are going through it even till now, and then they don't even know how to go about it. So I always tell them about it. I tell them that, oh, my friend Rosie, this is what happened to her, and then she has finished it right now. So right now, I finished it last year. I got my degree, I got everything, and I'm like, okay, Okay, I'm done with CMU. Anyway, guys, I don't know. I feel like this story is already long. It's so long. I didn't want it to be more than 15 minutes, but I think we're already in 25 minutes. I'll be 30. I don't... Guys, if you enjoyed the story time, please tell me. I have a lot of more exciting gist for you guys. So if you enjoyed this story time, please tell me at the comment section down below. And I have more story time to come, more gist to give you guys. So yeah, just let me know in the comment section what you think about this video. I love to hear feedbacks. I want to hear your feedbacks. I want to know what you think and all that. Please tell me if you've had any issue before, maybe during your thesis, or maybe not even thesis, maybe exam project. I don't know, just be that one now. Just me at the comment section down below and let's interact there. All right, so thank you guys for watching. If you watched up to this point, you're sweet, you're amazing, you're the real MVP. If you watched up to this point, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to drop me comments, don't forget to share and all that. And yeah, and that's it. Thank you, I love you. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.